reported to have originated in Russia and the Ukraine. Horseradish has been used medicinally for thousands of years, first with some say the ancient Egyptians, and then the ancient Romans and the ancient Greeks. Also, it makes an appearance at Passover Seder as one of the bitter herbs. Hello or welcome back. Today we're talking about 3 health benefits of horseradish, and this is some that my son and I dug up in our backyard. So it's not only known as something like in a sauce, probably how most of you are familiar with it, but it's also been a very powerful herbal remedy for many, many years. So I thought I'd go into that, and it's perfect for this time of year, and I will tell you why. Welcome to Mrs. Crunchy, where we discuss natural living in a modern world. For those of you who haven't seen my videos recently, I apologize if you hear some background noise, hear some little grunts and whatnot. I have my baby attached to me right now. Going into the benefits of horseradish, it's just a really cool root, and it's actually kind of hard to get rid of once you have it. It's something kind of like Jerusalem artichokes, where even if you leave a little piece in the ground, it's sure to come back, and it's very hardy and resilient, which is one of the benefits, but can also kind of be a curse if you are trying to get rid of it. Knowing what I know, I would not try to get rid of it, and in fact I propagate a little bit more each year because I find more and more uses for it. So the first one is that it's a really great expectorant and decongestant. So when we're talking about flu and cold season, so unfortunately most of you know the reality of the cold weather season, which is what it is here in the US currently, is that you get a lot of stuffed up noses and runny noses. Well, horseradish is really great for that because it has that kind of, for those of you that are familiar, this is nothing new to you, but you know that powerful effect that it has and just kind of clearing everything out. And in fact, we make our own prepared horseradish, and I have a video on that which I can link as well. Basically, I make it in a food processor, and it cuts down on a lot of the potent fumes. But I will tell you that when I open the food processor up, just beware. Like, I don't even have my kids with me, around me. I keep the windows open when I do it because it will just clear everything out. So kind of similar to that like menthol eucalyptus quality, but I would say even more powerful. It really is amazing for clearing out your sinuses. Now, back in the day, horseradish was actually used as a herbal remedy to cure menstrual cramps. So I don't know if maybe they just grated it up and it cleared out your nose and it hurt so bad that you forgot about any other pains that you had going on, but that is what it used to be used for as well. Now, it wouldn't be a video on herbs if I didn't have some caveats for you. So if you are suffering from things like IBS or colitis, or you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you might want to consult, well, definitely consult with your trusted medical provider before you incorporate horseradish, especially large amounts of horseradish, into your diet. Horseradish is also a powerful diuretic, and so sometimes that can work in your favor, but if you're suffering from things like kidney disease, again, check with your medical provider before incorporating it. Now, the second health benefit of horseradish is that it's very high in antioxidants. So it is a member of the cruciferous family. So think things like broccoli or kale, those are other members of this family, and they specifically are high in something called glucosinolates. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, so please correct me if I am. But these compounds work to help protect your cells against oxidative stress. Now, horseradish works to reduce inflammation throughout the body, and it can also help to bolster your immune system. So again, during cold weather season, this is really an added benefit, and there have been studies shown that horseradish can actually protect the body against chronic disease by regularly consuming it. The third health benefit of horseradish is that these really powerful compounds that are found within it are great at stimulating the digestive enzymes in your stomach. So it's a wonderful digestive aid, and we start to harvest it, again, I keep repeating myself, but during the cooler months. Well, what do we tend to eat during the cooler months? Or at least according to various traditional medicine theories, what are we supposed to be eating during the cooler months? Well, a lot of roasted meats or stews, heavier food that's really going to sustain you and keep you warm. Well, what goes really well with, for example, like the classic pairing is prime rib with horseradish, right? So you are having these heavy meats, but you're also accompanying it with something that will help you to digest all these fatty, rich foods. So how do we incorporate more horseradish into our diet? I know that it's something that might seem a little obscure, or people are like, wow, it's so strong, I'm not really sure how to use it that much. And with herbal remedies, something that Rosemary Gladstar, who I look to for a lot of herbal wisdom, check her out, I can link her website below, but she recommends using herbs as condiments basically throughout the season. So things that you have like fermented garlic and honey, and things that are just delicious and that you have on hand that are very natural to have with a lot of your meals. So it's very easy. So for us, prepared horseradish or horseradish sauce is kind of a staple that we have in our fridge. And that's a very, I don't know, I think a lot of people know about it. You know, it's grated horseradish basically in vinegar to help preserve its qualities. Fresh is always going to be best, as with any herb. And, you know, because the longer it sits, or if it's mixed with chemicals, you know, if it were me, you might want to be a little more cautious when you're looking at prepared horseradish in the stores, because some of them are preserved with chemicals. So it just depends on whether or not you want that. But another great way is you can actually freeze the entire root and then grate it as you need it. And it's also a classic ingredient in cocktail sauce, which I never realized until I tried making my own. So this time of year is a wonderful time of year to be getting lots of shellfish. So, you know, shrimp, for example, with cocktail sauce is really delicious. So you can make your own. If you are a Bloody Mary drinker, you can do virgin Bloody Marys too. Some people like to grate horseradish. I think actually in the video that I'm going to link where I show you how to preserve horseradish, someone suggested that they, I believe, grate their horseradish and they keep it in vodka, and then they like will add that to their Bloody Mary. So I'm not a big Bloody Mary drinker personally, but if that's something that appeals to you, you could do that. Now, something really interesting I did for the first time is I made horseradish ice cream. And I'm telling you, don't knock it till you try it. It's Scandinavian, so maybe it's Swedish. I'm thinking it's Swedish. If you know, let me know. But it has this really beautiful, I don't know, it's, how do I explain it? It is just, it's surprising. I mean, it's really, really good. I made it for Thanksgiving and we had some with our pumpkin pie, and I added some vanilla bean to it, and the sweetness of the ice cream just balances out the horseradish. And I've seen it used in some savory dishes with root vegetables like beets, for example, and these like fancy looking, I don't know, appetizers or sides that people make. So there's a lot of ways to play around with it, but I'm definitely going to make it again. And I just kind of we grated the horseradish and we infused it into the cream, into the ice cream base before we made it. And it was surprisingly good. So that's just sort of a lesser known version. There's also, I have seen people make kind of like gelled desserts out of horseradish. I can't personally attest to this as we haven't tried it, but that's something that I would like to try. They kind of look like these retro desserts that somehow they've infused horseradish into the mixture. I'd love to know how you use horseradish in your diet, especially if you're from a different part of the world. I'm sure that you have some interesting ways that I have yet to hear of. So it would be great to get some ideas going in the comment section, so feel free to leave them below. Well, I hope this video on the 3 health benefits of horseradish has been interesting and helpful to you. Another fun fact about horseradish is that it has some antimicrobial properties. So again, a reason why traditionally it has been served with meat is before the days of having these very safe refrigeration methods, this was a way of making sure that it would cut down on some of the harmful bacteria within the meat when you were consuming it. So I love learning about things like that, especially how, you know, they work in historical contexts, and it provides a reason for why a lot of food pairings are classic food pairings. So I don't know, I just think that that's very interesting. That's all I have for today. Again, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate everything, and stay well this holiday season. I will see you all again soon.